And to better understand the shifting dynamics, we were earlier joined by Professor Chuck Freilich. He's a former Israel Deputy National Security Advisor, and here's what he had to say. Listen in.
Well, first of all, it wasn't just one leader. It was 48 and maybe more of the entire top leadership, military and political. And this comes on top of the war back in June, in which 30 senior IRGC leaders were killed as well. So an entire level or levels of Iran's leadership have been removed from the scene. But as you were saying, I mean, for Iran, this is for the regime, this is critical. And I think they will try to stay the course for as long as they can. And the question is whether the U.S. and Israeli pressure will prove to be so heavy that the regime will collapse sometime in the immediate future, or maybe actually the war will end and we'll only see the after effect, which might be weeks or months down the line or even beyond. Remember, this is a very, very, very unpopular regime. Maybe 20% of the public still supports it, and the other 80% would like to see a different one in power. Maybe this war will create an opening for them to take to the streets and manifest public sentiment in other ways. Given the potential for a rallying around the flag type of response in Iran, which we do not seem to be seeing, but if that is the case or were to be the case, is that a reason not to launch the war? This is a heinous regime, okay? It's a regime which oppresses its own people brutally. It just slaughtered somewhere between maybe 10 and 30,000 of its own people in the demonstrations back in January. It's a regime which has destabilized the region and been a threat to regional security for decades, and which calls for the absolute elimination of another country, which is at the closest point about 1,300 kilometers away. This is a regime which should not exist. So, I mean, if this has to be done, and I don't think it is, but if this had to be done against the will of the people of Iran, you know, not all Germans were thrilled when the Allies attacked Nazi Germany. This isn't a popularity contest, and it's not a matter of public opinion. It's a matter of removing a major threat to international security.
Well, we know that the situation in West Asia is escalating by the hour, and beyond the battlefield, the world is watching closely. From energy markets to global capitals, well, all eyes are on West Asia right now because, of course, the dynamics which are going to evolve will have a much larger implication, not just for the West Asia region, but also for the entire world order. And, of course, we understand as the situation is developing. Alerts are dropping in by the hour at WION. We're trying to filter out all the noise and get you verified, confirmed coverage with expert analysis who's helping us understand where things stand and where things are headed in the coming days. And to help us navigate the barrage of developments, claims and counterclaims and the broader implications of these moves, we're joined on the broadcast by Dr. Tara Karta. She's the former director of the National Security Council Secretariat. Thank you so much for making time for us, Dr. Karta.
Thank you.
Dr. Karta, let's start with what is India's official stance in the Iranian warship Iris-Dana, which was torpedoed by a U.S. submarine just 44 nautical miles off southern Sri Lanka as it was returning home from naval drills hosted by India?
See, they did the right thing. I mean, immediately our Navy has a standard reaction in this in terms of launching rescue operations, what we call SAR, search and rescue. So that was launched anyway, which doesn't require any official permission. It's part of like what any country would do. So we managed to do that. Number two, but in terms of the legal aspects, it is well outside our waters, right? I mean, it is extremely unfortunate that it happened just after this crew visited India. I mean, they were in Vizag. A lot of people who were there, interacted with them, are, well, pretty upset about that. But nonetheless, this is wartime. So there is nothing much that we can do to help other than getting, as much done in terms of rescue. And the other aspect is that, there is talk that the ship should have stayed put. Right now, I think the second ship, which is, however, merchant ship, the crew is being evacuated into Sri Lanka. That is a very, very fine gesture by Sri Lanka. Honestly, I don't think that would apply to a warship. So that's pretty much where it is. It's unfortunate. One would have preferred that if the frigate was in actual action and it had been shot down, then it would have made more sense. This was just sailing around. But like someone else was saying, if the roles had been reversed, I think Iran would have done the same.
Noted, Dr. Khat, and while that sets the record straight, and the West Asia conflict as it enters the 7th day today, let's also talk about the implications of the unexpected silver lining that has emerged for India here. India has received this 30-day waiver from the United States to buy Russian crude, which is currently stranded at the sea. Now, this does provide a much-needed but temporary relief to refiners who are grappling with supply disruptions. Dr. Khat, tell us more.
I mean, it's a bit galling that someone has to give you permission to take oil, which is extremely critical for us. Right now, you have the Gujarat refinery, which has instituted a force majeure clause, which says we don't have enough oil, they're raising prices for industrial consumers. You've got the Mangalore refinery, which is stopped exports. I think Adani Total, which is, of course, partnered with the French company, is also going to raise prices. So this is an immediate problem for us. And I'm pretty sure we would have taken the Russian oil anyway, regardless of anybody telling you. But okay, they did this. So that's, I suppose, an understanding that India, as someone who's not involved in the war and has really nothing to do with whatever that you're doing, is suffering, is going to have immediate, and I do say immediate, I think a lot of people haven't realized this here, that this has immediate cost for us.
Absolutely, Dr. Khat. We'll have to, of course, wait and see how the situation develops. But for now, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your insights with us.
Thank you.